ये तो है शोला, ये है चिंगारी, ये है जवाग भी, जिस्मों के पीछे.
He kissed her head as her eyes were still closed and his lips pressed tightly. His hands were shaking badly while touching her as he planted a soft kiss on her forehead. Sorry, he whispered, kissing her cheeks. Really very sorry. His voice broke slightly. He breathed when he saw her phone ringing as he looked back at her as he kissed her cheek softly. Fine, he whispers. Fine, please get up. He murmurs softly, but she didn't move a budge. As he kissed her hair gently and his eyes shimmering with tears, as he murmurs, please get up, Fine. He murmurs as his lips tremble, but she didn't, and his heart aches as he reaches out for his phone, but with trembling hands. As he looks, her phone kept ringing, and he hesitantly took it. The tremble in his hand returns before answering, pressing it to his ear while his eyes stayed fixed on her. Fine, daughter, where are you? There's a rush in her voice as he swallowed, lips pressed into a thin, straight line before responding, voice low and strained. Hello, ma'am. Silent hung heavy on the other hand. Jungkook, why do you have her phone? His chest tightened like a vice. Um, Actually, she is with Serene. They are working on something important. She left her phone, so I picked it up. The lie, it felt like swallowing glass. This girl, always forgetting to inform. Anyway, when she comes, tell her to come quickly. It's her engagement in 2 days. The word struck him like a slap. His sweat hitched, his gaze flickered to Wang's face, pale and lifeless. Shaman. Then came her mother's next words, casual, obvious, and cruel in their innocence. Oh, and Jungkook, are you coming to her engagement? His knuckles turned white around the phone. No, ma'am, I can't. There's an urgent work. Oh, come on. Just for a day. It's a big day. You have been such a supportive friend. She never shuts up about you. You know, Mr. John this, Mr. John that. I swear, half the time I thought you two were secretly seeing each other. She laughed softly. But I'm glad you told me there's nothing like that. She speaks of you like family, Jungkook. The kind of bond that's rare. Jungkook blinked hard, tears slipping down his cheeks as he looked down at the girl who used to say his name like a phrase. I will be needing your help for arrangements. You know her dad asked you to come, she added. You have to come. Are you listening to me? Jungkook nodded. Yes. It was Werewolf whisper. Then don't forget to inform her, she lastly said. The call ended before his silence betrayed him. The phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a soft thud. And then nothing. Just the sound of his breathing, shallow and even, as if his lungs didn't know how to function anymore. His gaze returned to her, still fragile, her face pale against the dull room light. He reached out with trembling fingers and brushed a strand of hair from her forehead. His touch was reverent, like she was made of glass, like she was a ghost already slipping from him. His palm hovered over her cheek for a second, and then rested there, gently, longingly, desperately. His lips quivered, his body leaned forward instantly, forehead almost touching hers, like if he could stay enough, he would stay with her. And then a single tear slid from the corner of his eyes. It traced down his cheeks over his jaw and landed on her skin with a silent kiss. His thumb hovered over that spot as if he could erase his own pain from her body. If I wasn't bounded by this cursed life, if I wasn't trapped like this. He paused, stroking a back sore. I would have made you mine or ended it all before living to see this day. His chest heaved as he gritted his teeth. It's killing me, Ryan, watching you fall apart because of me, watching you with someone else, staring me alive, and I can't even scream. He pressed her hand on his cheeks, the heat of his breath brushing her hand. I'm not a monster when I'm with you, but the world won't let me be anything else. He kissed her hand and his lips trembling against her still form, as if holding her harder could preserve time. I couldn't be the man you deserve. He whispered into the silence that didn't answer back. Jungkook's fingers trembled as he clutched his phone. Eyes still fixed on Ryan's still face. He pressed the call. Yes, Jungkook. Jungkook cradled her head gently, brushing her forehead with shaking fingers. She's not waking up, Jungkook. Why isn't she opening her eyes? Why isn't she moving? Because what you did would traumatize anyone. And she's too fragile, Jungkook. Even doctors said her body is still in shock. He gave her a sedative. It'll take some time. Just let her rest. Jungkook's jaws tightened. He bit back the guilt that threatened to swallow him whole. She'll, she'll be okay, right? There was silence on other end. Then Taehyung's voice softer this time. She will, but you are not okay either. You need to rest too. You are not in the right state of mind. Give yourself time. How can I? All my time she has taken, all of me. Since she came into my life, I forgot what I was before her. There was a pause. His voice cracked under the weight of quiet emotions. Do you really? I really love her. I loved her when I didn't know what love was. She taught me love, the best way could possible. He muttered. I love her in ways I didn't think I was built for. I love her when I hate myself, when I don't understand her, when I'm angry or lost or numb. I still love her. What should I do? His voice got heavy and there is a silence on the other side just for a while. You shouldn't do that. He whispered and Jungkook nodded. I know. What should I do? It happened. And you know the worst part? Even after I did everything possible, she still doesn't hate me. So I did that. He added. There was silence again, the kind that screams. Shouldn't have done that either. Jungkook didn't respond. He just placed the phone down, rested his forehead against Ryan's hand, and whispered like it was a final prayer. I'm sorry for all the ways I broke you, just because I didn't know how to keep you. He murmured, pressing a long kiss on her hand. When suddenly he felt a grip on his hand as he looked up. She was moving, barely, but she moved. Eyelids fluttered. Her fingers twitched in his. His hand instantly rose to touch her cheek. It stopped in midway, hovering, hesitating, like his guilt held it back then. Opa, he heard Serene's voice as he quickly wiped his tears and stood straight. He quickly wiped his face with his sleeves, straightened up like nothing had happened, but the redness in his eyes and hollow in his chest couldn't be hidden. Wine stirred in her sleep again, faint murmurs leaving her lips as he looked up at her one last time, like she was slipping from him all over again. Without a word, he stormed out. The door clicked shut behind him, but not before he brushed past Serene in the hallway. His shoulder grazed hers. What are you doing in guest room? She asked. Jungkook turned slowly, eyes cold now, not angry, guarded. Wine is sleeping there. I heard her phone ringing, so I came to check. Few murmurs and then followed. Wine? Didn't she go home? She wasn't feeling well, so I told her to rest. She fell asleep. I didn't want to wake her. His voice was barely above a whisper, like a guilt was strangling the words before they could fully form. Serene's expression changed, concern flickered in her eyes. Without a moment pause, she rushed past him into the room. Not well? Is she okay? Serene saw her moving slightly as she rushed to her and tapped her cheeks gently. Hey, Bestie, are you okay? She mutters while checking up on her, tapping her cheeks. Mine fluttered open her eyes slowly, her vision swimming with light and confusion. Blurry shapes moved around her until her gaze focused, landing on Serene's anxious face. Then it hit her. A sudden flashback slammed into her mind like a wave. Fragments of fear. His voice, the chair, his tear stained face. She gasped and jolted upright, her breath ragged and uneven, hands clutching the sheets, since her dropped as she cupped her friend's face. Hey, hey, it's okay, are you alright? What's wrong? Ryan looked around wildly, her eyes glassy and unfocused, as if the room couldn't ground her. Fine, it's okay, you are safe, I'm right here. Ryan didn't answer. She just threw her arms around Serene, clinging her like she was the only solid thing left in the world. Her heartbeat thudded violently against Serene's chest. Serene gently rubbed her back in slow circle, whispering, did you have a nightmare? It's alright, you're safe now, it's over. When the hug loosened, Serene pulled back slightly, hands still on her face, her voice barely above a breath. What happened? Why now? I do so scared. Might open her mouth, but her lips trembled. It looked everything in her to speak. Mr. Chan. Seren's eyes flicked toward the door, startled. Opa was here. He was just here a moment ago. She turned back to Wine, her brows showing in confusion and concern. Wine, what did he do? Wine only shook her head, and tears streaming in her eyes as she whispered, I want to go home. Seren quickly wrapped her arms around her again, rocking her back. Okay, we'll go, but breathe, please. You're safe now. She glanced towards the door one last time, heart pounding, wondering what the hell had happened in that room before she arrived. I'll call Opa. Mine held her wrist, stopping her at her track. I'll go, don't call him. Her voice trembled slightly as Seren frowned. Ryan, is everything okay? Did he do something? She cupped her breast and face, trying to meet her eyes. But Ryan didn't meet her gaze. She just shook her head slowly, tears threatening to fall, her eyes distant somewhere else entirely. I just want to go home. With those final words, she gently pulled Serene's hands away like she couldn't bear any more touch, any more warmth. She stood shaky on her feet but determined and began to walk. Fine, but she couldn't finish. She didn't try to stop her, not when she looked like she was holding herself together with threats. Ryan walked through the hallway, her figure small, fragile, her step unsteady but filled with silent resolve. He watched her leave, his fingers clenched, the wooden railing knuckles pale, his eyes never left her as she passed the foyer, eyes swollen but dry now. Her back was to him, but it felt like silence still screamed. She didn't look back, and something inside him shattered more quickly than before. Goodbye. Her voice bare above a whisper. The door closed behind her with a dull thud, echoing like a memory she couldn't shake off. Mine stood there, motionless, leaning against the wood like it was the only thing holding her up. Her chest rose and fell unevenly. She was numb, but her body remembered everything.
कम से कम
The bag slid off her shoulder and
मिल
hit the floor.
जाए
Her mother's voice
वो
echoed faintly from the living room, but it
ख्वाब
fell
सा
far away,
या
like a world she
जन्नत
no
है
longer belonged to. She walked
ये
in
जो
silently,
है
her eyes
कम
scanning the
से
room, the
कम
bed, her mirror, also
रहने के
normal, too
जाने
normal.
दे
She looked to the side,
छोड़ो
slightly on her neck,
एक
and she
मशवरा
turned
कर ले
slightly. There
मगर
was a blood stain
जाने
on
दे
her neck, which is not there now.
आदतन
Her
तो
hands
चले
trembled. She
होता
realized so
यूं तो
much
क्या
happened.
होता
He
मगर
cleaned her like she was
जाने
never
दे
stained. He never
वो जो
stained her.
था
Even her cheeks aren't
ख्वाब
stained
सा
anymore. He had
क्या
cleaned her like she
करे
was trying
जाने
to
दे
erase the memory before it
ये जो
became a
है
reflection.
कम
Not a
से
bruise,
कम
not a scar, but she remembered.
रहने के
She dragged her
जाने
feet toward the
दे
bathroom like a sleepwalker in horror dream.
बीता जो
The
बीते
fluorescent light flickered on. She
जाए
avoided the mirror completely. She
क्यों
stepped into the shower
आए
and
क्यों
turned the knob. The cold water burst from the head
आंखों
and struck her
में
skin in a sharp droplets,
हम
one
देखो
after another, until her breath caught in her
बेमौजी
throat. It felt like
सोचना
slapping her awake.
क्या
She stood still for a second,
आए
arms
वो
by her side, eyes closed,
आंखों
and her lips began to quiver.
में
A single sob escaped from her
पूछते
mouth,
जो
then
मुझसे
another.
वो जाने क्या क्या
She
पूछे
collapsed slowly
जाने
like a tree cut at the
जाने
base. Her knees hit the wet tile.
आदतन तो
She
सोचेंगे
curled up,
होता
knees to
यूं तो क्या
chest, and
होता
then let water
मगर
to drown out her scream.
जाने दे
Why?
वो जो था
Why did you save me
ख्वाब
like
सा
that if you were going to
क्या
destroy me?
करे
She pulled
जाने
her at
दे
her hair,
ये
crying
जो
harder,
है
body shaking
कम
under the
से
screen,
कम
like it
ये
was trying to
रहने के
purge the
जाने
memory to touch the
दे
way he looked at her, as if she was still pure, still his.
आसा
Her
नहीं
voice cracked with the weight
है
of the betrayal and ache,
जाना
the kind of
नहीं
heartbreak
अब
that doesn't come
है
from hate, but from the love that came too late. The water kept running, washing away that the world would never see. I will
आसा
always hate you
नहीं
for
है
making me miserable.
मगर
I will hate you for
जाना
bringing this
नहीं
out
अब
of me,
है
making me helpless. She choked her tears. She hugged herself tighter, her forehead pressed to her knees, as if she could shrink herself small enough to disappear. Her fingers clenched, nails digging into her own skin just to feel something real.
बेहतर तो ये
A
होता
sob escaped
हम नहीं ना
her
होते
lips again,
मगर
raw and almost
जाने दे
animalistic. The kind that
आदतन तो
doesn't ask for
सोचेंगे
comfort,
होता
only
यूं तो क्या
release.
होता
I
मगर
wish you never came in
जाने
my life.
दे
Her lips trembled.
वो जो ख्वाब
Jungkook sat on the top of the edge of his bed, elbows resting on his knees, hands folded as if in silent prayer. The lights were off, only the street light outside cast faint stripes across the face, shadow and light dancing over his hollowed expression. The memory crashed into him like a wave made of knives. His breath hitched and he snapped. With a strangled growl, he got up, teeth grated so hard it felt like they would shatter. His feet flew towards the wall, slamming into it the bone cracking force once, twice, until the skin of his knuckles split, blood trickling down like penance. Her soft whimpers and begging echoed in his ears the way she asked him to stop, but he didn't. Her every single tear appears in front of his eyes like a nightmare. The memory didn't just haunt him, it devoured him. Grabbing the lamp from his nightstand and hurling it against the wall, the crash was so loud, glass twinkling like crash of his sanity. He stomped across the room, knocking books off shelves, tearing from frames, dragging his hands through his hairs, his bed carpet just heaving, sweat and tears mixing under the dim light. He looked at the blood of his hands and sank on the door just like his heart pounded, his vision blurred, everything in the room blurred with it. He fell to his knees, shaking, sweating, bleeding. Her tears, her silence, the way she looked at him like she didn't recognize him anymore. It was all there, all over him, inside him. He covered his face with both hands, blood smearing across his cheeks. What I have done to you? What the fuck I have become? He wanted to scream, he wanted to take it all back, but it was too late. He hadn't just lost her, he had become the very thing she needed to run from. He curled into himself on the cold wooden floor, not as a man, not as John Jungkook, but as a boy who loved wrong, and ruined the only thing that had ever loved him anyway. I'll make myself pay every single tears. She came downstairs and her steps halted as she saw some familiar figure and her steps slowed down and he smiled at her. Yeah, there she is. Come, daughter. She said and her chest stiffened instantly. Hi, how are you? He asked her, but she barely could smile at him. Sudden fear rushed inside her body as her chest rose consciously. He walks near her while she clutched her clothes tight. Are you okay? You look dull. He approached her, and her chest stiffened instantly. Her breath stuck in her throat. She studies late night. That's why. She's okay, her mother said. She doesn't need to do that anymore. Not when I'm here for her. You don't need to work so hard. That landed like a cold slap. Her brow stretched barely, but her heart thudded. It's her dream to become doctor. She topped the university this semester. There was a beat of silence before Chanel responded. None of the praises seemed to be interest him. And I know she'll make it. The older man chuckled. In her home, women mostly rest. They don't need to work. Then catching her gaze, but it's okay if she wants to. Vine's eyes flickered to him. That wasn't a permission, that was a leash. She smiled faintly, not out of agreement, out of survival. Uncle, if you don't mind, can we talk alone? Of course. The room was modest, farm tone walls, a few family pictures, and soft hum of a ceiling fan. Vine stood by the window, arms folded. Her posture was closed, stiff, like she wanted to disappear into the wall. Chandler stepped inside, carefully closing the door behind him. He smiled, but it didn't reach his. Sorry if I caught you off guard. I just wanted a moment to speak without the whole family listening. She nodded slowly, but she didn't say anything. She looked tired. Are you okay? I am fine. But she needed it to sound true. He took a step closer, hand stuck in his pocket. She unconsciously took half step back. I am not going to bite. Then watching her reaction more closely. She didn't reply. Her silence wasn't mysterious, it was haunted. You don't have to act brave if someone hurt you. I can deal with that. Trust me, I know people. I can protect you. Her head lifted sharply. I didn't ask for protection. Still, it's nice choice to have options. Then he reached out, his hands wrapped around hers, slow and gentle, but it didn't feel gentle at all. It felt wrong. Her breath hissed, her fingers stayed limp in his grip. Body frozen, his touch wasn't violent, but it made her skin crawl, as if every nerve underneath had gone cold. Then, without warning, he lowered his head and pressed his lips against the back of her hand. From tomorrow, you're mine. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't tender, it felt like a verbal chain. Slipping around her wrist, a chill ran down her spine. For a second, she couldn't breathe. It felt like someone had placed a death sentence in her palm and kissed it shut. He smiled, like he would claim her, then left the room calm, composed. She stood there, trembling, the imprint of his kiss burning into her skin. The air around her felt it belonged to someone else now. The imprint of his lips on her skin was not warm, it was fire, a brand, a warning. The room felt wrong now. The walls too close, the air too thick. Her eyes wide, hollow, lowered slowly to spot he kissed, and as realization crawled its way up her spine like ice, she rubbed the place harsh, desperate, as if she could erase the moment, the touch, the ownership he believed he had now. A tear escaped sliding down of her face. She wiped it away fast, furious, as if the tear itself had betrayed her resolve. Her breath shuddered, her hands trembled. She opened the door with desperation and stormed out. Her mother was still smiling as she came from the door, waving goodbye to the guests, but her smile dropped the second she saw Wine at the top of the stairs. She looked pale, terrified, as if something had crawled its way out of her nightmares and stood behind her. Wine. I didn't answer. She bolted down the stairs just as the front door opened again, her father stepping back from the guest saying Appa. She grabbed his hand tightly. Please call off this engagement. I can't marry him. Her voice cracked, eyes wild with fear. Her father blinked, startled, his warm smile flattering. Fine, what are you saying? He's not right. I don't trust him. Something is wrong, Appa. I, her words choked in her throat. I feel sick when he touches me. Fine enough. Don't embarrass us now. It's already been decided. Then undecided. Shouldn't even ask me before fixing this. He's not what he looks. Something is off. I feel it. Her father looked at her closely now, concern deepening. Did something happen, Ryan? Did he do anything to you? I don't love him. This is just about love, Ryan. This is about your future, your safety. He steps back as if hit. My safety? A bitter laugh escapes her lips. I don't even know him. I met him twice, and now suddenly I'm his. Do you even hear yourself? Fine, she interrupts, watching her tone getting rough. This isn't just about feelings, it's about survival. Families like theirs, they don't come around easily. He's powerful, he can shield you. I don't need his power or his name. I needed you to see me, to ask me what I want. She backs away again, her tears burning. I already feel like I died once, and now you're burying whatever left in me. Her dad looks at her mother as Wine's mom moves forward, holding her wrist, but she jerks her hand, making her shock. Appa, I'll die. While still breathing, I swear I will. Her parents' eyes widen, and her mother stares her shock. Hanging, she mutters, and her voice is trembling. Please don't do this to me, please. Her father turned away, his jaw clenched. He couldn't bear to look at her, talk to her, and he walked off. Appa, but he was already gone. Her mother approached her slowly. Fine, listen. I don't want to listen anything. The slap came faster than her tears. Her face snapped to the side. A stunned silence followed. Mine stood frozen, her cheeks burning, her breath caught somewhere between the pain and disbelief. You don't speak to your parents like that. Mine turned her face not in defense but in heartbreak. She didn't say another word. She just slowly backed away, eyes glassy, lips trembling, and her mother's eyes softened immediately, looking at her vulnerable. Her mother's hands dropped as the weight of what she has done settled on. Fine, I didn't mean. Before she could complete, she ran from there, didn't even look back, and her mother shut her eyes. The door slammed shut behind her, the echo sharp in the silence. Swan stood there, chest hardening, her back pressed against the door as if she needed it to hold her up, her legs threatening to give her out beneath. But she forced herself forward, slow robotic steps towards her bed. She collapsed, not gracefully, not in sorrow, but like a broken thing that didn't know how to be fixed. Her hands covered her face, nails sticking onto her scalp as a sob tore through her. I can't do this, I can't. The sting on her cheeks pulsed in sync with her heartbeat, but it wasn't just a slap. It was everything: the silence, the pressure, the betrayal, the engagement, Jungkook, the blood that wasn't there anymore. The everything was crashing over her in waves, suffocating her from the inside out. She curled into herself on the bed, pulling the blanket up like she could shield her from the everything outside her four walls.
पास
Her
आए
knees to her chest, fingers trembling, eyes red.
दूरियां फिर भी कम
The world
ना
wanted to stay quiet,
हुई
obedient, petty, but inside
एक
a scream
अधूरी
was building,
सी
already dead.
हमारी
She
कहानी
looks back of her hand as she rubbed it again harshly on the floor.
आसमां को
The best
जमीन
she could do
ये
disappeared the pen
जरूरी
she did
नहीं
rubbed so hard that it turned red, bleed slightly, and burst into
जाने
tears. I hate this. I hate this.
इश्क सच्चा वही
She locked herself in the room whole day as it was dinner time, but she didn't come. Her mother looked for her side, but she was nowhere to see, and her dad looks at her. Didn't talk her? He asked, and she gulped slightly. I'll go and talk to her, she said. What happened to her suddenly? He asked, and her mother had no clue as she remained silent. Tell her stop acting childish. We are not here with her for life, he said, and she nodded. I don't want any scene tomorrow. His voice was cold. The room was dark now, lit only by the faint moonlight bleeding through the curtains. Shadow danced softly on the walls. Fine hadn't moved from the bed, her half face half buried in the pillow. Tears dried and stiff on her skin, her eyes open but distant. A gentle knock broke the silence. The door creaked open slowly. Her mother stared in her silhouette, hesitant, framed in the dim light like a ghost. Fine, can I come in? No response, but she walked in anyway, carefully as if the door itself might crack under the weight of her regret. She sat on the edge of the bed without touching her daughter, staring at her hand for a long time before speaking. Why I never wanted to hurt you, I got scared. You were yelling and she paused, her words caught. I haven't never seen you like that before. Mine turned her head slightly, eyes glassy, voice hoarse. You have never listened to me like this before either. Her mother's breath hissed, the truth landed under her, the slap ever did. You're right. A silence as she extended her a bite, where she turns her face aside and her mother stared. Appa and me are not happy with your behavior. Her voice was gentle. At least tell me what happened. She asked and cupped her face. If you don't tell me your problem, how I will give you resolution? Oma, I don't love him. I don't like when he touches me. Her voice was annoyed and trembling. Do you love someone else? She asked and she was silent. No words came out from her mouth. Only soft whimper and her mother wiped her tears. If you love someone else, you can tell me. It's not that late. She assured her and she closed her eyes. I'll talk Papa, she added and she hugged her mother. I just don't want to marry Uma. I can live my life like this. She utters and her mother rubbed her back as she broke the hug and cupped her face. Listen to me. If you don't have anyone, then don't do this. She said, Uma, daughter love happens after marriage too. It will be okay after some time. And marriage is not about just love. It's about who to share life till the end. She tried to make her understand, while she sobbed, shaking her head, and her mother wiped her tears continuously. Parents can't be with you forever, she said, but it feels like everything passing by her head. Don't think about it too much. Everything will be alright, she said, wiping her tears. Oh my, I can live my life alone, she insisted, and her mother smiled. Her mother gave her a tender smile, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear. I know you can, but I still want to see you happy. She kissed her forehead, but the weight in Wine's chest only grew heavier, because happiness and safety were two different things, and she wasn't sure she had either. Her mother fed her, but the storm inside grew more. Things got worse, eyes, even swallowing food hurts her throat. The mood is heavy, rain threatens but hasn't fallen yet. Jimin slams the door of his car shut pacing. Like what the actual fuck? He ghosted us like we are his clinging ex or something. This isn't a joke, Jimin. It's been 2 days, damn 2 days. No messages, no signal, nothing. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. I tried calling him over and over, still no answer. Phone is out of reach. I tried tracking it. Location has been done since yesterday. Something is off. He doesn't disappear like this, not even when he pissed. Why people take temporary feelings seriously? He utters. Taehyung just stared at him and so he closed her eyes. When you will go through that, then you will understand. She speaks and he scoffed. I don't waste my time on such things, he says, coughing. Heartless people don't have feelings, I forgot. She replied. That's the true nature of a mafia, not like Jungkook. He said, so he rolled her eyes. You people shouldn't meet him. You make it worse of him, she said. We don't need babysitter here. We know how to handle our brother. He cuts her off. So his gaze snaps to him, eyes glinting with fury. Do you? Because every time he crawls out of the darkness, one of you pulls him right back in. A heavy silence falls. Taehyung stares her down, jaw clenched. Jimin sees curl at his side, a storm brewing behind his eyes. Do you think we don't see it? The way he's changing? He's not made for this love and leave kind of grief, not him. So he kept glaring at him. You weren't even here when he bled for years, when he broke piece by piece and still showed up like nothing happened. He steps forward, voice sharp, cracking at the edges. You talk about feelings, but this blood in his hands, that's the cost of surviving what he went through. It's his time now to make the people bleed who carved the actual cruelty into his skin, to become John Jungkook, the mafia who doesn't cry anymore. He's about to walk when so he speaks. You don't deserve him to call brother. I won't leave you all if something had happened to him. You all will be his culprit, so he said with rage. A crack of thunder rose through the sky, like the clouds themselves bear witness to her fury. The rain hasn't started yet, but the air feels like it's about to split open. Taehyung halts, turns, take one slow, dangerous step toward her, their eyes lock, two storms colliding. When I am alive, no one. No one touches him, not fate, not his past, not even death. I'll burn the world down before I let anyone take him again. That's my guarantee. So his gaze remained unmoving as Taehyung walked passing by her, followed by Jimin. Taehyung storms in wrench and fury. Jason's bows instantly, but the sharpness in Taehyung's eyes slices straight through the room. You can't even do a single thing right. Didn't I warn you? But boss didn't go anywhere. I didn't see him leave. Without hesitation, Taehyung presses the cold muzzle of his gun against Jason's chest. The breath leaves Jason's lungs in a stifled gasp. Then where is he? Why don't you know? Serene said he wasn't home. That's all I know, I swear. Jason? Taehyung lowers the gun reluctantly and slips it behind his back as Serene walks in. Heels clicking, expression unreadable. Jason stumbles a step away, exhaling like he's just returned from death. Taehyung straightens posture, heart, jaw locked. His eyes flick to Serene as she comes closer and calm despite the storm around them. Who are they? Behind Taehyung, two men dressed in all black lingered near the door, silent, watching. not part of the usual gang. Their presence is a threat itself. Oh, we are Jungkook's friends, he politely said. He hasn't been seen or heard from in 2 days. His phone's dead. I thought to check on. Opa, he's not home. I thought he was with the business side of things. She is still confused. Are you sure he's not home? Yeah, since Anne shook her head. I didn't see him in home, so I thought. Please come. I'll try to call his other number. She asked politely. It's okay, we'll wait here. Um, can I use your phone for a moment, if you don't mind? Taehyung's head snaps towards her with confused mind. Sure, thank you. He takes the phone, already flicking through the screen as Serene walks away. I'll be back. The moment she's gone, Taehyung narrows his eyes. Just checking something. She's his sister. Exactly why I'm checking. Suddenly, Seren's phone rings and Jimmy's gaze flicks to the screen. The name glows and Team Hallway. Fine. His froze lips. He muttered himself. Isn't that girl from that day? The problem? Hey, he attends the call before Taehyung could say anything. Have you lost your mind? Taehyung utters directly. Just a second, Jimin said. He brings phone to his ears just as something red drips onto his face. He frowns and wipes it, thinking it started raining, and another dropped and another. Fuck, it's actually raining. It is Seren, who are you? Jimin straightens and the playfulness gone from his face. Taehyung watches him with a hawk-faced glance. Fine, right? Answer my question. She's safe, don't worry. But maybe you should start talking now. Where's Jungkook? Have you abducted him? He's not seen in last 2 days. Young shifts beside him, irritation growing, ready to shut the conversation down, but his expression suddenly stills. Something changes, he frowns, looks up, then reaches blood. Another drop falls, then another, thick red, undeniable. It spatters onto the floor between like them like a sick omen. Taehyung's gaze snaps upward. His body swells as if air has been knocked from his lungs. Shivan, sensing the shift, follows his line of sight. His pupil shrinks. The phone line in his hand slips right. Above them, on upper level, perched on the stone of edge of the balcony, is young Jungkook. He's soaking wet. His shirt clinging to him, his right hand drips a steady blood of stream from a gash across the palm. Holding a shutter bottle, the other hand clutches the railing like he is the last anchor. His eyes are glazed, empty, something else, somewhere far dark. The fuck you're doing up there? Get down, are you out of my mind? But Jungkook doesn't flinch, doesn't blink, doesn't even look at them. It's like he doesn't hear. Like he doesn't want to hear. You are scaring the hell out of everyone. What the fuck you are doing? Look at me. But Jungkook doesn't move. He's barely breathing, the bottle shaking slightly in his bleeding hand. Wind hollows around him. His soaked air clings to his face. Eyes streak somewhere to no one can reach. Jimin's chest rises and falls rapidly. Panic started to sink in. The blood continues to fall, hitting the floor with rhythm that feels like countdown. Jungkook, please don't do this. Just talk to us. Look at me. A flash of lightning cuts the sky behind Jungkook. His silhouette flickers, haunting his lips finally part, and a whisper escapes barely audible. It's quite up there. What? It's finally quiet. Shimon feels his chest collapse at those words. The phone is his pocket vibrates, still connected. Fine, her voice faintly screaming his name from the speaker. Hello? What's happening? Please tell me. Hello, what's happening? Please tell me. Before she can finish, the line goes dead. A flat beep hums in her ear, disconnected. Silence. Hello? Said it, Mr. John. Hello? No answer, just that horrible stillness on the other end.
Her heart slams in her chest as she stares at the skin call and a chill spreads through her, like the air has been sucked out of the room. Her hands shake as the phone nearly slips from her grasp. Taehyung banged on the door recklessly, frustration tightening every muscle in his body, but the door was too solid, too well built to break easily. Some of his men rushed behind him, Jimin leading them. You didn't open it yet? Taehyung ran his fingers through his hair, jaws clenched. It's not easy to break. He stepped back for a second, analyzing the lock, his mind racing with possibilities. That's when Serene came rushing in from hallway. What's going on? I heard banging. Where's the key, Serene? She blinked, startled. It might be Nova's room. Bring it fast. His tone was loud and Serene doesn't know what's happening. She gulped and nodded, ran downstairs. Jungkook opened the damn door. There was no response. Move aside. Jimin stepped back without a word, seeing the fire in his eyes. Taehyung's breath was ragged as he pulled out his gun without hesitation and aimed straight to the lock. Sparks flew, sliding shook, but the door held. Taehyung's gun empty. That's when Jason stepped forward, silently handing over his weapon without pause. Taehyung took it and resumed firing, each shot louder and more desperate than the last. Finally, after the final round, the door creaked and cracked, a small opening. Move. With one sharp click, the door burst open, crashing against the wall. They all rushed. Jungkook stood there, gaze slowly adjusting to the light. His eyes were bloodshot, swollen, face pale, bottle in hand. Jungkook, don't move. His voice cracked, masking panic with a dry chuckle. It was so peaceful here. Why did you all come? He tilted the bottle back and drank straight from it. Have you gone mad? Get down. But before they could move, Jungkook stepped onto the railing. Their heads slammed into their throats. He balanced there, barefoot, arms outstretched like wings. Don't come near. It feels so peaceful here. Thunder growled above, a warning echo in the sky. He closed his eyes. I want to breathe. The word hit like a whisper and scream all at once. What drunk, you idiot? If you fall from there, he breathed hard, resistance. Get down. He chuckled slyly, shaking his head, and he continued drinking as Sehang is about to move but stopped. But in that instant, a sudden pull, Jungkook's wrist was yanked, his body jerked, balance for a split second, but he caught him. His other hand instantly reached back, steadying her head as she pressed into him. Rain started to fall, gentle at first, then harder, soaking them instantly. He blinked, vision blurred. Her breath was ragged, uneven eyes, dragging, terrified, breaking. She didn't speak, but her silence screamed. He stared at her, dazed, eyes red, trunk swollen. Slowly, his trembling hands brushed her wet hair out of her face. Why you always pull me from my darkness? And then he leaned forward, collapsed into her, his full weight pressed against her as his head dropped to her chest, his breath hissed, her arms wrapped around him, instantly tight, desperate, Ryan's eyes welled up as she clutched him close, not letting him go. A beat past, thunder rumbled far away. Taehyung and Jimin exchanged a look, half relief, half pain, saying everything was good. Jungkook didn't move, he just stared there, pressed into her, only place that ever felt like safety, and for the first time it felt like forever. Jungkook slowly looks up at her. Why it is feeling like you came doing Renathon. A subtle drunk smile lingering on his face as she just stared in with rage. His lips curled, playful yet weary. She stared back, her eyes burning with rage, fury at recklessness, fear for his fragility, and a fierce determination. As about to lean again, she pushed him back, and he smiled, laying there as she covered her mouth and clutched her chest tightly. Ryan, when he tried to hold her wrist, a hard slap landed on his face, making his face jerk away. Jimin gasped. That was hard, he murmured. Slowly he turned his face back to her, eyes dazed but slowly sobering, guilt looming in the silence between them. Not a single word. Her words came like a warning. And when she hugged him suddenly, almost jumping on him, his arms automatically wrapped around her and she hugged, soft hugging him. She broke the hug and looked at him. What is all this? She asked. Her voice was bare of a whisper. Her hands trembled as she grabbed his collar, anger and anguish pouring from her eyes. She didn't respond. His hand moved slowly, instinctively to the crease near his chest, trying to loosen her grip, trying to retreat. But she caught his wrist and said, firm, unrelenting. Not today. Her voice cracked, but her didn't. You have to answer me all of it. She was crying again, but this time through clenched teeth. Don't you dare to back away. She locked the door behind her as she just watched her. When she turns and looked around in his room, which is complete mess, all the things shattered here and there, and blood stains on the wall. The room smelled like liquor, sweat, something darker. And when she looks back at him, her gaze slowly shifts to his hand, which is bruised, as she gently took in her hand and glared at him. Her touch was soft, but her glare was not. She yanked his wrist and pulled him toward until he stumbled back onto the edge of the bed. Laughing was the last mistake I made. Her voice cracked on the edge, but the words still cut. He tried to hold her wrist, but she moved away. She walks towards the cupboard, and his gaze shifts with her, and she brought the first aid kit and knelt in front of him. Don't do this. I didn't ask you to speak yet. Her eyes locked with his. Stay shut, Mr. John. She poured the antiseptic onto the cotton, pressed it on and bruised without warning. Her hands were trembling now, but she didn't stop. She wouldn't. You bleach, you drink, you destroy everything in this damn room. Her voice trembled now, fury swelling with pain as her gaze stabbed to his. For what? Her breath caught the fire in her chest, threatening to collapse into a sob. She forced it to down. You showed me the worst side of you. She paused, eyes glinting with disbelief. For what, Mr. John? He tried to look away. No, no, you don't get to look away. She gripped his chin suddenly, forcing him to meet her eyes. So what, you can make me hate you? Her voice cracked mid sentence, but her grip on his wrist only tightened. His gaze flickered for a split second, like something inside him still remembered who they used to be. He tried to push her away gently, barely a touch of resistance, but she caught him. Don't force me to show how insane you have made me. Her voice broke on the last word. Her body was trembling, not from fear, but from the sheer weight of everything we put her through. I never meant to. You never meant. She laughed once, bitter, broken. You think that makes it okay that your guilt clean up with that blood on these walls? She gestured around wildly, as if trying to make him see the wreckage he was sitting in. You want to destroy yourself, fine. But don't you dare to pretend you didn't drag me into the fire too. He looked away again. Look at me, Mr. John. She yanked his wrist up, pressing his knuckle to her chest, right where her heartbeat thundered beneath her skin. Feel that. That's your too. You don't get to throw it away. Stop lying to me. Her voice sharp like broken glass, but beneath a raw blade trembled. Jungkook's fingers curled slightly against her chest, feeling the electric thump of her heart. His jaw clenched, throat bobbing as he tried to pull his hand away. She wouldn't let him. Stop lying to me that you don't love me, she added as a tear slides. His breath caught in his throat. He stared her really stead. For the first time in weeks, eyes pain haunted, but hers. She looked at his shirt. It was soaked with sweat and blood. Sticking to him, he looked at like a mess, but she didn't care. Her hand moved to unbutton it, but he suddenly caught her wrist. They stared at each other. Without waiting another second, she tore the shirt open, buttons flying. Her eyes but never left his. You don't get to stop it like the way you always do, she whispers. I want to hear the truth today, only truth, Mr. Sean. Except that you love me. This is slight, painful smile formed on her lips. Just go. But he turned his face, breath back, pushing her away, not violently but brutally. Just go. He murmured, trying to push her away and trying to breathe. And Wine shut her eyes tightly as she covered his chest. You hurted yourself because you hurted him, didn't you? She asked bitterly, and he didn't look at her. He didn't answer, didn't even look at her. Her breath stuttered. Then quietly she wiped her tears and stepped back and scanned the room, her eyes locked on something. He barely noticed until it was too late. She walked over to a broken shard of glass lying near the overturned table. Before she could speak, her fingers closed around it. Fine, what the hell? Blood dripped from her hand, his eyes whitened, and the haze in his head vanished like smoke. If you don't love me, why do you care? She clenched the broken glass tighter, the blood kept falling, and for a moment it felt like his all intoxication flew away. God damn it, drop it, Ryan! He stepped forward instinctively. Don't come any closer, Mr. John. Not unless you're ready to see how crazy I've made me. Drop it, Ryan! I said drop it. His voice was no longer cold, it was terrified, real, raw. She didn't. She just stared at him, blood slipping down her fingers, lips trembling, but eyes fierce. Why does it scare you so much? If it's not hurting me, why it's you acting like it's killing you? He was shaking hands, twisted, breathing like he was about to drown. And then he snapped. He stormed across the room, grabbed her wrist roughly. Not enough to hurt her, but enough to make the glass clatter from her hand. Fine, you want the truth? He shoved her back against the wall, chest having pain flooding in his eyes. Yes, I love you. I fucking love you every damn second, every breath. It's hell. You are in my bones, Ryan. You are under my skin, and I can't get you out. I have tried. His voice broke raw and hoarse. I love you so much. I barely can breathe when you're near me. It's like you're the air I need. And suddenly Ryan stopped shaking. A soft, broken smile spread on her face. Tears swelled freely now, but they weren't out of pain anymore. Her heart was pounding, but it didn't feel heavy. She had finally heard what she had been begging for. His breath was uneven, dragged like he just ran miles. And as she wiped her tears, her eyes slowly drifted downward. His chest was bare, rising and falling with every shaky breath. And then she saw it. Her fingers moved on instinct, trembling as they hovered over the spot. When they touched it, he flinched, shutting his eyes tightly like her touch burned and soothed him at all once. She touched specific spot where he carved her name, her brows drawn in chalk. She looked at him to assure herself, then again looked down. Tears spilled down her cheeks flawlessly. Mr. John, he tried to back away, covering the scar like it was a crime. But she caught his wrist, this time not gently. He snapped, his hands flew up, one tangled in her hair, the other gripping her waist. His mouth lashed onto us, desperate and unfair. It wasn't soft, it was a war. Rage, heartbreak, hunger colliding all at once. She gasped into, but didn't pull back. Instead, her finger clawed at his bare shoulder, holding him like she was terrified he would disappear again. He kissed her like he hated how much he needed it, like every second without her had burned. He broke for a second to let her breathe. He kissed her again, harder, slower. Her back hit the wall, but she didn't flinch. His mouth moved from her lips to her jaw to neck, breathing her in like oxygen. And suddenly he stopped, realizing he is losing himself. He stopped, breath heavy. His forehead pressed against her chest, heaving. The air between them thick and burning. His hands were still on her, gripping her waist like she was the only thing grounding him. But his lips hovered now, barely touching, trembling. I can't do this. It's not right. He was struggling to breathe and she looked at him, teary eyes. Mr. John, why you came here? He whispered. You shouldn't do this. It's not right. He murmured and she cupped his face. I love you, she whispers as she tiptoed and pressed her lips onto his, and he shut his eyes tighter. But he pulled away, suddenly breathing heavily as he pinned her hands on walls, looking down, not looking at her. No, 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 don't run from me. Why did you came here? You shouldn't do this. It's not right. He murmured and she cupped his face. You shouldn't do this. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. She cupped his face, brushing away the trembling in his jaw. Then make it right. We can't do this. His breath was shallow. Why he can't? She asked. His jaws clenched under her touch. His eyes searched hers like he was begging her to stop because if she kept looking at him like that, he wouldn't survive the fall. We are from two different worlds. You don't belong in mine. You are good. You are light. He looked away as if he ashamed of every breath he would ever taken. Everything I touch turns to ash. I'm not afraid of fire. He flinched. The walls he built began to quake. But he still, he pulled back just slightly. Everyone I love, I lose or I ruin. And you, he swallowed hard, voice stopping to whisper. I can't ruin you. I can't survive that. She reached again, and this time he backed away sharply, shaking his head. Everything I love, I lose. Don't you get it? I can't lose you, Wine. I can't ruin you. She stepped forward again. No fear, just fire. My world is hell. I would rather fight beside you in hell than watch you become stranger in paradise. He watched her. He stared at her like her words had unraveled everything inside him. I can't let you in my end. I can't. Her voice cracked as tears raced down her cheeks. Leave that word. She stepped closer, forehead almost touching his. We'll build our own. Just the two of us. Silent, just their breathing shallow, shattered, and tangled. His lips parted, but no words came out. His chest rose like he was droning. And then he let out a broken sound like something inside him finally shattered. I'll do everything you say. I stay in dark. I'll keep quiet. I'll follow your rules. Just don't push me away. Why can't you understand? His voice thundered across the room like it cracked through the floor. We can't be together. She froze, his scream ringing in her ears. Her breath hitched, but her eyes didn't leave his. This isn't some fantasy wine. This us. It's a mistake waiting to happen. You think love is enough? It's not. Not in my world. He turned away, raking a hand through his hair like he was trying to tear the feeling out. Like he hated himself for loving her. Like he hated her for loving him back. Her breath was shallow as she wiped her tears. You keep saying you'll ruin me, but don't you see I'm already ruined by you? Tears spill now, but she didn't wipe. Every day without you is a slow death. I'm already dying. Her voice echoed like cracked lightning through the room. You think you are protecting me? You are not. You are killing me in pieces. He turned sharply, with his stunned by her scream. You already set the fire, Mr. Chan. You already ruined me. The moment you looked at me, I meant something. Step forward, chest heaving, face streaked with tears. You don't get to light a match, then walk away like the fire isn't yours. You don't get to love me in silence and then punish me for hearing it. He stood still, frozen, guilt crashing through him like a wave. His lips parted, but she cut him. If loving you cost me my life, I'll happily die for you, she whispered. I can't take more wine. I already had so much guilt and pain on my shoulders. I can add one more to it. He folded his hands in front of me. Please, I beg you. I beg you. He stayed quiet as his gaze shifted to her hand, which is still bleeding, and he tried to hold her, but she didn't let him. As tear falls, you have to be brave to love. Shouldn't touch something which you can't handle. Her voice trembled. Falling in love, that's never in our control. He swallowed hard, but walking away from it, that is. She pressed her lips together, chest tight, a storm in her eyes. I have lost so much already. I don't want to hold something so precious, only to lose you too. She looked away, blinking fast, but he stepped closer. I want you to be happy. Please, don't suffer like this. Don't. Don't put me a guilt trip I can't crawl out of. You turned back and eyes glassy and jaw tight. He fell on his knees while she shut her eyes tightly as she clutched her coat tightly. She didn't look at him. Her throat felt too heavy to say anything. Still, she tried. You're not trying to leave me. You're begging me to stay broken. Just. She breathed her throat hurt too much. Just remember, the only person you saved tonight was your fear. This was her last word before leaving. She wiped her tears, which aren't stopping. She looked back at him one last time. Her tears didn't stop, but she wiped them like they disgusted her now, and with a whisper landed like a curse. I hate you for loving me like this. He shut his eyes tight like that sentence ended him. And she walked away. The door didn't slam, it just closed softly, like the final page of the book, too painful to finish. She stumbled when someone held her as she looked at Taehyung. She quickly stood straight and he stared at her with concern. Are you okay? He asked, but she didn't say anything and walked from there. A few feet away, Serene stood silently, lips pressed together, her eyes tracking wine like she already knew the weight of the what just happened. Shimin appeared, holding a cup of coffee. He sighed as he saw wine vanish from the corridor. Let me check on him. He walked toward the room casually, but the moment he stepped inside, you, he backed out, covering his nose. How the hell she stayed in there for so long? It smells gross. Then watched Jungkook from outside, who was sitting on the floor like a man who lost his everything. Wine sat like a Poikin doll, flawless, lifeless. Her eyeliner had been redone 3 times. No one dared to ask why. The doors opened, Seren walked in. Wine slowly looked at her through the mirror. There was no smile, no emotion, just tired eyes. It took so long. She has sore throat. Seren looked at her, her expression unreadable, but something deep flickered in her eyes. A thousand questions, a thousand things she suspected. She gave a small smile and glanced at makeup team. Can we talk? Wine nodded. The staff looked at each other, then quietly left the room, closing the door behind them. Then walked over and picked up a hairbrush. She gently brushed Wine's hair. Wine watched her through mirror, saying nothing. Your eyes are swollen. Wine looked down, not answering. After a moment, she whispered, It's okay, makeup will cover it. Thin's hands paused in her hair. She looked at her through the mirror. Makeup hides wine, not pain. Wine's jaws tightened. Her lips parted, but no sound came. She clutched her dress tightly. When did you become a hidden book to me? She asked, and Wine gasped to breath. and guessed a little, her breath shaky. The sentence hit something deep inside her. She blinked slowly, like it hurt to even more her eyes. Her voice came out rough, like it has been buried. She took the makeup brush and started fixing her contour. When the author stopped believing her story was worth sharing, Serene gently took the brush from her hand and held it, along with her fingers. Her grip was soft but firm, like she was trying to hold her together. How long? She asked exactly. She exactly knew what she's referring to. It was never started, she replied and Serene closed her eyes for a while. She held her shoulder as she made her stand and hugged her. Mine just stood there, Serene, letting her Serene hug her, but her body didn't move. Her arms stayed by her side, like she didn't know how to return warmth anymore. When Serene pulled back, her hands gently cupping Vine's face, she saw it clearly. How empty her best friend's eyes had become. I think she'd tell me you were hurting. I was right there, and I didn't even know. Vine blinked, her eyes were red, but no new tears came. How you even doing all this? She asked, looking her from head to toe as her hands trembled. Because that's how he wants to see me. Serene shut her eyes, a hollow smile appearing on Vine's lips. Too bitter to be real. He wants strength, so I gave him strength. She looked at her reflection. Even if it's made of glass now. Is he coming? Serene shook her head slowly, unsure how to even say the no word. Vine's shoulder dropped slightly, not in surprise, just in quiet confirmation. Then asked him to come. And he's not coming. Mine didn't move, she just stared at the floor like she hadn't heard her. But her fingers slowly let go of the makeup brush she was still holding. Then tell him, I'll wait. Serene's heart sank. She turned to face the mirror again and picked the lipstick, her hands shaking. Even if it's just for a second, I want him to see what he made. Serene shook her head, voice cracking. He won't come. Wine paused, then looked up at her. Do you have car keys? Serene's eyes softened. She nodded slowly, swallowing the lump in her throat. Fine, what are you going to do? Wine didn't answer either. She just stood up slowly, her body moving like it was heavy to carry. She fixed her dress, wiped her under eyes gently, and looked herself in the mirror again. This time not to check her makeup, but to see what was left for her. Just one last time, then I'll never look back. She took a shaky breath. Even if it's kill me, I want him to see me the version he asked for. Serene breathed as she held out her hand. Serene, please. Serene's finger trembled as she reached into her bag. She didn't want to let go of the keys, but more than that, she didn't want to let go of wine like this. Serene's heart cracked open, but words failed. Then I'll come with you. Wine looked at her, calm but distant. No, please stay here, handle everything. Her voice wasn't angry, it was detached, like she would already left. Serene stood frozen, helpless, her lips trembled, but she didn't say anything. I'll be back. Serene reached out her hand, almost instinct, as if maybe touch could stop him. He sat there, holding her head as she disappeared from her sight. Jungkook leaned his head back on chair. He didn't say at home because everywhere it felt like her voice is echoing in every corner. He brought his focus back to laptop as his chest is heavy when his phone rings. Where are you again, man? His voice was annoyed. At office. His voice was cold. Suddenly, what happened? He asked, while Jungkook remained silent. You asked us to be there when you yourself not here. Come on, Jungkook. He continued, and Jungkook still remained silent. I'll call you later, he said as he hung up the call, throwing his phone away. He held his head as he got up from chair and looked outside out the window as his gaze lowered to the velvet walks and he shut his eyes. You think no one can find you if you hide here? The voice came and sudden chills rushed to his spine. He turns, his gaze softens, looking at her. She was wearing the gown which he chose for her. He didn't look at her that day, but today, when he looked at her, he felt the world around him stop for a while. She's looking exactly how he imagined. He forgot breathing for a while. Vine's heel echoed softly in the silence of the office. He stood froze. His finger twitched at his sides as she walked, each step a reminder of everything he tried to bury. This is what you asked for, isn't it? Her voice wasn't laced with anger. It was stripped of it. That more hurt more. It was too calm to finish. So I did for you. I came here not to beg, not to cry, just to let you see what you made out of me. Fine. She smiled just a little, but it didn't reach her eyes. You don't get to say my name like that now. His mouth opened, but the words were jammed somewhere between his lungs and his guilt. Why did you came here? Vine looked at him like she was already knew the answer better than he ever would. To give it back to you, every version of me you sculpted. I'm done carrying her. Jungkook blinked slowly, his throat tightening as if her words wrapping around it like a noose. The air between them felt heavy, too quiet, too full. How do I look? He didn't answer right away. He just stared, as if seeing her for the first time. The gown, the calm in her eyes, the quiet rage behind her composure. It all hit like a slow adventure. I thought you would carry yourself. I didn't imagine you'd get married this young. Young, maybe for you, but to my papa, not a long back. You think I'll carry this alone? No, Mr. Young. You will sit there. You will see someone else holding me, someone else claiming me. He gulped and clenched his teeth. He took a shaky breath, trying to steady the form behind his chest. You are doing this to punish me, right? No, I'm returning what you gave me. She replied, and he nodded his shining eyes. Fine, I'll come. The words left him like a glass tearing through his throat. He turned around slowly to walk towards his desk and picked up the velvet box. It had waited there like a ghost of a decision never made. He turned and extending it towards her with trembling fingers. This is for you. Vine's gaze fell to the box, then slowly rose to his eyes. She let out a sound, half breath, half laugh, stitched with tears. Then make me wear it. He opened the lid, revealing the necklace, silver, simple but made for her. It gleamed like underneath his eyes. He moved closer, hands brushing her shoulder as he gently pushed her hair aside. She stood still, eyes closed, as he clasped the necklace behind her neck with fingers kissed her skin. Slow, hesitant revolt. His touch lingered not out of intention but need, as if he could memorize the warmth of her skin before it was gone. She opened her eyes. He was already looking, not at her, into her. They stood like that, time still. Then he moved again, slowly, relentlessly. He guided her to sit down. He knelt before her as if panicked. Taking a tissue, he reached for her lips, hands trembling, gently correcting the smudge of lipstick. His fingers were careful, fragile. He fixed her hands too. They looked beautiful. She didn't reply. Her face was unreadable like stone softened by rain, but her eyes said it all. They stared at each other, two souls on opposite shores, watching the tide pull away. He swallowed hard. I made you cry a lot, didn't I? Her breath caught, and then finally she nodded once quietly, honestly.
A lot. His eyes closed for a moment, like the weight of her pain had finally broken through. He didn't say sorry, but because some wounds are too deep for apologies. They both stood up. The air between them felt like a living thing, thick with memory, breath, heartbreak. Their eyes locked, silent, shimmering, unblinking. She looked down for a second, like she was searching for strength in her own breath, then back at him. Can I hug you one last time? There was no hesitation in his note, just surrender. Please. And she stepped forward. He didn't pull her in. She came to him, arms wrapping around his body like she was remembering every curve, every heartbeat, every unsaid promise. And when he held her back, his grip was both gentle and desperate, like he was holding on to the ghost of a forever that had slipped through his hands. Their bodies met in stillness, no rocking, no tears, just quiet. The kind of silence that only comes before something sacred ends. His lips hovered near her temple, not kissing, just breathing. Her fingers touched the back of his shirt, holding on, not to him, but to the version of herself that still loved him despite of everything. You are the most beautiful thing that happened to me. A tear slipped from his eyes and landed softly on her hair. He didn't wipe it away, then moved. And you were the most beautiful broken that ever touched my soul. I hope we'll never be like this again. She took a breath, shaky but sure, like this was her way out, her sorrow. I hope you regret. Her tone hissed through the air, not out of cruelty, but from a place that had been bleeding for too long. He pulled her into him tightly, fiercely, like stoning, and she was the last breath he would ever take.